I watch my sister-in-law Melissa sign the immigration papers with my name at the bottom. And I smile. She doesn't know I've done this before. She doesn't know that in another life, my first life, I signed these same papers with a shaking hand, while my mother screamed at me and my brother twisted my arm behind my back. She doesn't know that sponsoring her green card destroyed me so completely that I died alone in a studio apartment at 43, buried in debt I'd never escape. My credit ruined, my career gone, my future sold to pay for hers. She doesn't know I remember everything. Thank you so much, Sarah. Melissa coos, her accent still thick after 3 years in the country on a tourist visa that expired 18 months ago. You are such good sister. Family is everything, yes? I nod, keeping my expression grateful and worn down. Exactly how I looked the first time. Of course, family is everything. My mother beams at me from across the table in her kitchen, the same kitchen where she told me I was selfish and ungrateful when I hesitated to sponsor Melissa the first time. My brother Marcus sits beside his wife, his arm around her shoulders, looking at me with that mix of expectation and contempt he's perfected over the years. You're doing the right thing, Mom says. Melissa is family now. We take care of family. We, as if she signed anything, as if her name is on any of these documents, as if she'll be the one legally responsible when it all goes wrong, because it will go wrong. I know exactly how wrong it goes. In my first life, I was 28 when I sponsored Melissa. I'm 28 now, but I've lived to 43 once already. 15 years of knowledge packed into a second chance I still don't fully understand. I woke up 3 months ago in my old apartment, the one I had before everything fell apart, and I knew immediately what had happened. The date on my phone, the lack of scars on my wrists from the credit card fraud Melissa committed in my name, the absence of the permanent anxiety that lived in my chest for 15 years. I was back at the beginning. And I remembered everything. The lawyer said it should take about 6 to 8 months, Marcus says, glancing at the papers. Then Melissa can start working legally, get her real estate license like she wants. I nod. That's what he told me too. What the lawyer didn't tell me, what he won't tell me until it's too late, is that sponsoring Melissa makes me financially responsible for her for 10 years. But not just responsible if she needs help, legally obligated to repay the government if she uses any public benefits. Medicaid, food stamps, emergency hospital visits, housing assistance. Anything. And Melissa will use everything. In my first life, she started slow. A hospital visit for anxiety 3 months after getting her green card. She told me it was a panic attack, that Marcus took her to the ER, that insurance would cover it. She didn't mention that she'd told the hospital she had no insurance, or that as an immigrant with a sponsor, the hospital bill would eventually circle back to me. $3,400 for an ER visit and observation. Then came the car accident. Not her fault, she said. The other driver ran a red light. But somehow Melissa's hospital bills, $23,000 for a broken wrist and severe trauma, ended up in my mailbox 8 months later with a letter explaining that as her sponsor, I was liable. The other driver's insurance had paid their maximum. Melissa's lawyers were going after my insurance because she'd been in Marcus's car and I was the policy holder for the family plan. Then the credit cards. She needed to build credit, she said. Could she be an authorized user on one of mine? Just for a few months? I said yes because my mother guilted me and Marcus pressured me, and Melissa cried and promised she'd only use it for emergencies. She maxed out 3 cards in 6 months. $47,000 in charges I couldn't prove weren't mine because I'd authorized her access. Handbags, jewelry, so furniture for the house she and Marcus bought, in her name only because Marcus's credit was complicated. I tried to remove her. The credit card company said I was still liable for the debt since I'd given permission. Pay it off and we'll close the account, they said. I couldn't pay it off. I was making $52,000 a year as a graphic designer. My rent was $1,400. My student loans were $680 a month. And now I had $47,000 in credit card debt accruing interest at 24%. I asked Marcus for help. He laughed. You signed up for this. You wanted to sponsor her. That means you're responsible. I asked my mother. She said I was being dramatic. Melissa is family. You help family. What's money compared to family? I asked Melissa directly. She cried and said she didn't understand American money, that she thought the credit cards were gifts. so that Marcus told her it was fine to use them. She promised to pay me back. She never did. The debt collectors started calling when I was 31. I tried to negotiate payment plans, but the interest kept piling up faster than I could pay it down. I got a second job, then a third. I stopped sleeping more than 4 hours a night. I developed an ulcer. My hair started falling out. When I was 34, the government sent me a bill for $89,000 in public benefits Melissa had used. Apparently, she'd been collecting food stamps and Medicaid for 2 years by claiming she had no income and no support. She had a job. She'd gotten her real estate license and was selling houses, but she was being paid under the table and reporting nothing to the IRS. As her sponsor, I was liable for repayment. The government wanted their money. No, they didn't care that I didn't know she was using benefits. They didn't care that she'd lied on her applications. They didn't care that I was barely surviving myself. They garnished my wages, took 25% of every paycheck before I ever saw it. I couldn't afford rent. I moved in with roommates, then cheaper roommates, then into a studio in a building with roaches and black mold. I lost my job at 37 when I had a breakdown at my desk. Just started crying and couldn't stop. They said I could take FMLA leave, but I couldn't afford to miss work without pay. I tried to come back too soon. My boss said I wasn't a good fit anymore. I couldn't find another job in my field. I was overqualified for entry-level positions and underqualified for senior roles because I'd been too busy working 3 jobs to advance my skills. I ended up at Target, then Starbucks, then doing gig work delivering food. Marcus and Melissa bought a second house when I was 39. An investment property, Marcus said when I saw the photos on Facebook. They were smiling, holding champagne, standing in front of a beach house. I was living in a car at the time. Just for a few weeks, I told myself, just until I saved enough for first and last month's rent. The few weeks became months. The months became a year. I showered at the gym. I slept in Walmart parking lots. I ate whatever was cheapest. I stopped talking to my family because seeing their success, built partly on my destruction, made me want to die. I almost did die several times, but I was too exhausted and too broke to even manage that properly. Then I got sick. Really sick. I ignored it because I had no insurance and no money for doctors. By the time I collapsed at my delivery job, it was too late. Kidney infection, sepsis, multi-organ failure. I woke up in the ICU long enough to see the ventilator and understand that I was dying. My last thought was bitter and clear. Melissa won. Then I woke up 3 months ago, 28 years old, in my old apartment, with a text from Marcus on my phone. Mom wants you to come to dinner Sunday. Melissa needs to talk to you about something important. I knew exactly what that something was, and this time, I was ready. So, what happens now? Melissa asks, bringing me back to the present. She's looking at me with those wide, innocent eyes that fooled me for years. The papers go to the government, yes? The lawyer handles it, I say. We just wait. And you'll help me study for the citizenship test? She squeezes my hand. You are so smart, Sarah. So good with words. I squeeze back. Of course. Anything you need. Marcus's phone rings, and he steps away to take the call. Mom starts making coffee. Melissa leans closer to me, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I'm so grateful, she says. You know, in my country, we take care of family. Not like here, where everyone is so independent, so selfish. You are different. You have a good heart. I smile. I try. Marcus says you make good money at your job, that you have savings. There it is. The first probe, testing to see what resources I have, what she can eventually take. I do okay, I say vaguely. That's good because, sometimes immigrants need help, at first, until they find their feet. She's still smiling, still holding my hand. It's good to know family will be there. Always. I lie. What Melissa doesn't know, what none of them know, is that I've spent the last 3 months preparing. I've documented everything. Every conversation, every request, every promise they've made and broken in that other timeline. I've recorded phone calls legally. I made sure to check the recording consent laws this time. I've saved emails. I've built a paper trail of their expectations and my generous agreement to help. I've also hired a different lawyer. Not the family friend Marcus recommended, the one who failed to explain my true obligations the first time, but an immigration attorney who specializes in sponsor liability. She's young, sharp, and hungry for cases that expose exploitation in the immigration system. Her name is Jennifer Park. And when I told her my situation, that my family was pressuring me to sponsor my sister-in-law, and I was concerned about financial liability, she didn't sugarcoat anything. "You'll be responsible for 10 years, she said during our first consultation. If she uses any means-tested public benefits, the government can and will come after you for repayment. If she commits fraud, you're still liable unless you can prove you had no knowledge and took steps to prevent it. If she divorces your brother and stays in the country, you're still her sponsor. If she commits a crime and gets deported, you could still owe restitution for benefits used before deportation." "What if I don't sponsor her?" I asked. "Then she stays undocumented or leaves the country. Your family might be angry, but you're protected. And if I do sponsor her, what's the worst-case scenario?" Jennifer didn't hesitate. "Financial ruin. I've seen sponsors lose homes, retirement savings, their careers. The government doesn't care about your ability to pay. They want their money back." "Can I protect myself at all if I do choose to sponsor?" She tilted her head, studying me. "Why would you sponsor someone if you're this worried?" "Family pressure. That's not a legal obligation." "I know." She was quiet for a moment. Then, "If you're determined to do this, document everything. Every promise of repayment, every agreement, every expectation. Record conversations if you're in a one-party consent state. Create a contract between you and the sponsored immigrant outlining financial responsibilities. It might not hold up in court, but it shows intent and awareness. And watch for fraud. If they're using public benefits while claiming no income but actually working under the table, that's prosecutable. You can report it." "Would reporting it protect me from liability?" "Not from past benefits already used, but it could prevent future liability and potentially result in deportation if the fraud is severe enough." I absorbed this. "So the best protection is to not sponsor at all." "Yes, but if you're going to do it anyway, go in with your eyes open and your documentation ready." I thanked her and paid for the consultation in cash. Then I went home and started planning. Because I'm not trying to protect myself this time. I'm going to sponsor Melissa exactly like I did before, but this time I know every pitfall, every trap, every mistake she'll make. And I'm going to document all of it. I build a case so comprehensive that when she eventually commits fraud, and she will, because that's who she is, I'll have everything I need to burn her entire life down. The deportation won't be an accident this time. It'll be calculated, deliberate, and absolutely devastating. And the restitution I'll owe, I've already planned for that. Because unlike last time, I know exactly how much it will be and when it will hit. I'm ready. The immigration paperwork process is faster than expected. 5 months instead of 8. Melissa gets her green card in early September, just as the leaves start turning. She cries when it arrives in the mail. Real tears, or at least convincing ones. She hugs me and tells me I'm the best sister she could ask for. My mother cries too. Marcus looks proud, like he accomplished something. I smile and take pictures and post them on Facebook with a caption about family and love and being grateful. Then I wait. The hospital visit happens right on schedule. Late October, a panic attack that sends her to the ER. Marcus calls me at 2 a.m., frantic. "Melissa can't breathe," he says. "I'm taking her to the hospital." "Is she okay?" I ask, making my voice worried. "I don't know. She's hyperventilating. She keeps saying her chest hurts." "Let me know what happens." He calls me 4 hours later. "False alarm? Just anxiety?" They gave her some medicine and sent her home. "That's good. I'm glad she's okay." "Yeah, hey, she doesn't have insurance yet, so the bill might be kind of high. She put your name down as her sponsor contact. That's okay, right?" My stomach would be dropping if I didn't already know this was coming. "What do you mean, my name?" "For billing purposes. Since you're her sponsor, the hospital said they needed a responsible party." "Marcus, that's not how it works. I'm her immigration sponsor, not her financial guarantor for medical bills." "Isn't it the same thing?" "No." He's quiet for a moment. "Well, it's too late now. She already signed the forms, but don't worry, insurance will cover most of it." "Probably." He hangs up before I can respond. The bill arrives 6 weeks later. $3,400. Insurance, the basic plan Melissa chose because it was cheap, covered $900 after the deductible. The remaining $2,500 is my responsibility as the sponsor guarantor. I call Marcus. "I got a hospital bill for Melissa." "Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention it. Can you just pay it? We're a little tight right now. Just bought new furniture." "I'm not paying it." "Oh, Marcus. This isn't my bill. You're her sponsor. For immigration, not for medical debt. Sarah, come on, don't be like this. It's $2,500. You make good money. Then you pay it. I told you, we don't have it right now. We just spent $8,000 on a new living room set. Melissa really wanted it. I close my eyes. This is exactly how it went before. The entitlement, the assumption that my money is their money, the guilt trip coming next. If you don't pay it, it'll go to collections and hurt Melissa's credit, Marcus says. She's trying to get her real estate license. She needs good credit. Then she should have thought about that before going to the ER for anxiety. That's really cold, Sarah. She was genuinely scared. You've never had a panic attack. No. You don't understand. I understand that I'm not responsible for her medical bills. Actually, legally you might be. You signed those sponsorship papers. Maybe you should read them more carefully? He hangs up. I smile at my phone. Because this time, I did read them carefully. Multiple times. With a lawyer. And I know that while I'm financially responsible if Melissa uses public benefits like Medicaid, I'm not automatically responsible for private medical debt unless I explicitly signed as a guarantor. Which I didn't. I call the hospital's billing department. I received a bill from Melissa Chen, but I'm not the patient and I didn't sign as a financial guarantor. The billing rep checks my account. It says here you're listed as the sponsor. I'm her immigration sponsor. Oh, and that doesn't make me financially responsible for private medical debt? She indicated you were the responsible party. She lied. I need this removed from my account. There's typing. I'll need to escalate this to our legal department. Can you provide documentation that you're not responsible? Can you provide documentation that I am? A signed financial responsibility form with my signature? More typing. Please hold. 10 minutes later, she comes back. You're right. There's no signed guarantor form. I'm removing this from your account and sending it back to the patient. Thank you. I hang up and immediately call Jennifer Park. It's starting, I tell her. She's already trying to stick me with bills. Did you document it? Recorded the call with Marcus. Got the hospital to confirm I'm not liable. What's next? Wait. She'll escalate. They always do. She's right. 2 weeks later, my mother calls. Sarah, why haven't you paid Melissa's hospital bill? Because it's not my bill? You're her sponsor. For immigration, Mom. Not for every expense she has. It's the same thing. You took responsibility for her. No, I took immigration responsibility. There's a difference. You're being selfish. This is family. If it's family, you pay it, my mother gasps. I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford that. Neither can I. You make twice what I do. And I have my own bills. This is disgraceful. After everything I did for you, after raising you, feeding you, putting a roof over your head, this is how you repay me? By abandoning your brother's wife in her time of need? This is the same speech she gave me the first time. Word for word. I've heard it so many times in my nightmares that I can recite it along with her. Mom, I love you, but I'm not paying Melissa's medical bills. If you want to help her, that's your choice, but it's not mine. You've changed, she says coldly. You used to be such a sweet girl. Now you're hard, cold, American. She says American like it's an insult. I have to go, I say. Don't you dare hang up on me. I hang up. My phone rings immediately. I decline the call. It rings again and again. I turn it off. When I turn it back on 3 hours later, I have 17 missed calls from my mother, 8 from Marcus, and 5 from Melissa. There are 12 text messages telling me I'm selfish, ungrateful, cruel, heartless, a bad daughter, a bad sister, a bad person. I screenshot all of them and send them to Jennifer. Perfect, she texts back. Keep collecting evidence. The credit card request comes in January, right when I knew it would. Melissa takes me to lunch, just the two of us, which is unusual. She's bright and cheerful, talking about her real estate classes and how excited she is to start her career. I'm going to be so successful, she says. I can feel it. In my country, I had nothing. Here, I can be anything. That's great, I say, but I need your help with something. She leans forward, earnest. To get my license, I need to build credit history. To build credit, I need a credit card, but no one will give me one because I have no history. It's like, how do you say, a circle that goes nowhere? Catch 22. Yes, exactly. So I was thinking maybe I could be an authorized user on one of your cards, just for 6 months to build history. I won't use it. I promise. Just having my name on it will help my credit score. I pretend to think about it. I don't know, Melissa. That's a big responsibility. I know. And I wouldn't ask if it wasn't so important, but this is my future, my career. And you're the only one who can help me. Her eyes are wet. Please, Sarah, you're the only one who believes in me. This is the moment where I caved last time. The tears, the vulnerability, the way she made me feel like I was her only hope. This time, I see it for what it is. Manipulation. Let me think about it, I say. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. She hugs me across the table. I knew you'd help. You're the best. I smile and change the subject. That night, I called Jennifer. She asked for the credit card. What did you say? That I'd think about it? Good. Oh, now comes the fun part. Which is? You're going to say yes. I sit up straighter. What? You're going to give her exactly what she wants, but you're going to document everything first. Written agreement that she's only an authorized user for credit building, that she's not permitted to make charges, that she's responsible for any charges she does make. Get it notarized, make it official. Will that protect me? Legally? Probably not. You're still the primary account holder, but it establishes clear intent and boundaries. And when she violates them, and she will, you have proof of deliberate fraud. And then you report her to the credit card company, to the credit bureaus, and to USCIS. USCIS? The immigration agency. Credit card fraud committed by an immigrant can be grounds for deportation, especially if it shows moral turpitude or a pattern of deception. Combined with other violations, like public benefits fraud, which I'm guessing is also coming, it builds a case. My heart beats faster. How do you know about benefits fraud? Because you're smart and you're planning something, and because you asked specific questions about it in our first meeting. You're not just protecting yourself, you're building a case for removal. I don't confirm or deny. If I did want to build such a case, hypothetically, what would I need? Evidence of fraud, systematic, documented, impossible to deny. And you'd need to be clean yourself. No implications of conspiracy. Everything has to show you as a victim of her deception, not a partner in it. I understand. Good. So, give her the credit card. Or let her hang herself. I draft the agreement myself, using templates I find online and modifying them for my situation. It's 2 pages long and very clear. This agreement is between Sarah Mitchell, primary cardholder, and Melissa Chen, authorized user, regarding American Express card hash TIX1. Melissa Chen is added as an authorized user solely for the purpose of building credit history. 2. Melissa Chen is not authorized to make charges on this account. 3. Any charges made by Melissa Chen are her sole financial responsibility. 4. This arrangement will last for 6 months, after which Melissa Chen will be removed as an authorized user. 5. Violation of these terms will result in immediate removal and potential legal action. I have it notarized at a UPS store and present it to Melissa at our next lunch. What's this? She asks, frowning at the document. Just a formality. Since you'll be on my account, I need something in writing protecting both of us. You sign saying you won't make charges, and I sign saying I'll keep you on for 6 months. It's standard. Do we really need this? We're family. It's just to be safe. I need it for my records. She hesitates, then shrugs. Okay, if it makes you feel better. She signs. I sign. The notary stamps it. I make copies, one for her, one for me, one for Jennifer, and one that I scan and save to 3 different cloud storage accounts. A week later, I add Melissa to my Amex. It has a $15,000 limit. I immediately set up alerts for every transaction over $1. The first charge comes 3 days later, $47 at Nordstrom. I screenshot the alert and save it. I don't say anything to Melissa. The second charge is $89 at Sephora. Oh, then $156 at Target. Then $234 at HomeGoods. I watch the charges pile up, each one a violation of our written agreement, each one documented and saved. After 2 weeks, she spent $1,200. I call her. Hey, Melissa, I noticed some charges on the Amex. Oh, she sounds flustered. Yes, I'm sorry. I had some emergencies. I'll pay you back. We had an agreement that you wouldn't use the card. I know. But these were real emergencies. I needed makeup for job interviews and clothes. I can't show houses looking unprofessional. That's not an emergency. That's shopping. It's for my career. Her voice rises, defensive. You want me to fail? You want me to look bad and lose clients? I want you to follow our agreement. I'll pay you back, I promise, as soon as I close my first house. When will that be? Soon. Maybe a few months. Melissa, you're not even licensed yet. I will be. Next month, I take the test. Then I'll start selling immediately. I'll make so much money, and I'll pay you back triple. I promise. I sigh, making it sound defeated. Okay, but no more charges. Of course, no more, I promise. Thank you, Sarah. You're the best. The charges don't stop, they accelerate. By March, she spent $8,000. Furniture, electronics, jewelry, handbags, restaurant meals, hair appointments, nail appointments, spa days. Every charge, I document. Every time I ask her about it, she promises to pay me back soon. Every promise, I record. I'm waiting for my first commission. The market is slow right now. I have a big client, almost ready to close. Next month for sure. You're going to get everything back plus interest. Lies, all lies. Und I know because I've heard them all before. By May, she's maxed out the card, $15,000 in charges she never intended to pay back. I call Amex and report the fraud. I added someone as an authorized user for credit-building purposes only. We had a written agreement that she wouldn't make charges. She violated that agreement and maxed out the card. Do you want to remove her from the account? Yes, and I want to dispute the charges as fraud. We'll need documentation. I send them everything. The notarized agreement, screenshots of my conversations with Melissa, her text messages promising repayment, bank statements showing she's made 0 payments toward the balance. Amex investigates. They remove Melissa as an authorized user. They don't remove the charges. I'm still the primary cardholder, still ultimately responsible. But they flag her in their system. She'll never get a credit card from them now. I call Melissa. Amex closed the account. What? Why? Because you maxed it out and haven't paid anything back. I told you. I'm waiting for my commission. You've been saying that for 4 months. I can't afford this, Melissa. You owe me $15,000. And I'll pay you back. When? Soon. I need a date. I don't know. Stop pressuring me. You're stressing me out. So you committed fraud. The line goes quiet. Then, what did you say? We had a written, notarized agreement. You violated it. That's fraud. You reported me? To the credit card company, yes. How could you do that? I'm family. Family doesn't steal $15,000? I didn't steal. I borrowed. There's a difference. Not when you never pay it back. She starts crying. You're so cruel. I can't believe how you've changed. You used to be so nice. Now you're like a different person. Pay me back, Melissa. That's all you have to do. I can't. I don't have the money. Then we have a problem. She hangs up. 10 minutes later, Marcus calls. What the fuck, Sarah? Hello to you too. You reported Melissa for fraud? Are you insane? She stole $15,000 from me. She borrowed it. Without permission. That's theft. You gave her the credit card. For credit building. We had an agreement that she wouldn't use it. She violated that agreement. I have it in writing. Notarized. He's quiet for a moment. You set her up. I protected myself. Bullshit. You planned this. You wanted her to fail. I wanted her to keep her promise. Well, she didn't. You're going to destroy her credit before she even starts her career. She destroyed it herself. Mom is going to hear about this. I'm sure she will. He hangs up. Mom calls 30 seconds later. The screaming is immediate and loud. I hold the phone away from my ear and let her vent. When she pauses for breath, I speak. Are you done? How dare you? Mom, Melissa stole $15,000 from me. If you think that's okay, then we have nothing to talk about. She's family. So am I, but you don't seem to care about that. I raised you better than this. You raised me to be a doormat. I'm done with that. You're selfish and cruel, and I'm ashamed to call you my daughter. Then don't. I hang up. I block all 3 of them, Mom, Marcus, Melissa, on my phone. Then I pour myself a glass of wine and sit on my balcony while watching the sunset. I feel lighter than I have in years, maybe ever. The public benefits fraud starts in July, exactly when I knew it would. Melissa has her real estate license now, but she's not making sales. The market is competitive, and she's new and inexperienced and not particularly good at her job. She's working with a brokerage that pays commission only, which means she's making nothing unless she closes deals. She's not closing deals. I know this because I've been monitoring her. Not stalking, just checking her public real estate profile and her social media. She posts constantly about new listings and showings. But if you look closely, they're all the same properties. She's not actually selling anything, which means she has no legitimate income, but she's living well, posting pictures of new clothes, fancy meals, to weekend trips with Marcus. Her Instagram is a highlight reel of prosperity. Someone's paying for it, and I don't think it's Marcus, whose own social media shows him complaining about gas prices and looking for side hustles. I called Jennifer. I think she's using public benefits. How do you know? She has no income, but she's spending money. And last time, I stop. Last time, I haven't told Jennifer about the rebirth. I've framed everything as research and concerns based on similar cases. She thinks I'm just extremely thorough and paranoid. I've researched similar cases. I lie. This is a common pattern. No income, claim benefits while working under the table. How would you prove it? I can't access her benefit records, but I can document that she's claiming no income while clearly spending money. That's not enough for USCIS. You need proof of the actual fraud. What if I report it to the state? Request an investigation? You could, but as her sponsor, they might come after you for repayment anyway. I know, I'm prepared for that. Jennifer is quiet for a moment. You're really committed to this. She destroyed my life. The words slip out before I can stop them. I thought this just started. It did. But I know people this has happened to. I've seen how it ends. I'm not going to be another victim. Okay, she doesn't push. If you want to report benefits fraud, contact the state fraud hotline. Make it anonymous if you want. But be prepared. If they investigate and find she's used benefits, they will come after you for repayment since you're the sponsor. How much are we talking? Depends on what she's used and for how long. Could be anywhere from a few thousand to six figures. I think about the $89,000 bill I received in my first life. I understand. Sarah, are you sure about this? Because once you start this process, there's no taking it back. If she gets investigated and deported, your family will never forgive you. They already won't forgive me. I blocked them months ago. Still, this is serious. This could ruin her life. She ruined mine, Jennifer sighs. Okay, but I want you to really think about whether this is worth it. Revenge is expensive, emotionally, financially, sometimes legally. Is it worth the cost? I think about dying alone in my car at 43. I think about 15 years of debt and shame and poverty. I think about Marcus and Melissa's beach house while I showered at a gym. Yes, I say. It's worth it? I call the benefits fraud hotline from a burner phone I bought at Walmart. I don't give my name. I'd like to report someone who I believe is committing benefits fraud. The operator sounds bored. Name and social security number of the individual. I provide Melissa's information. She's claiming no income and receiving food stamps and Medicaid, but she's working as a real estate agent and being paid under the table. How do you know this? I've seen her social media. She's posting about showings and clients, but her public profile shows no closed sales. I think she's getting paid in cash and not reporting it. Do you have proof? I have screenshots of her social media and her real estate profile. I can send them. That's not proof of fraud. That's speculation. Can you investigate? We can open a case. But without concrete evidence, it'll be low priority. She's an immigrant, a green card holder. She has a sponsor who's legally liable for any benefits she uses. The operator's tone sharpens. You're the sponsor? No, I'm a concerned citizen. If you're the sponsor, you should report this directly. I'm not the sponsor. I just know the situation. The operator sighs. I'll open a case. Provide your contact information for follow-up. I give them the burner phone number and a fake name. Then I hang up and throw the phone in a dumpster behind a gas station 3 towns over. 2 weeks later, Melissa posts on Facebook. Some people are so jealous they'll do anything to tear you down. But God sees the truth and karma is real. I smile. They're investigating. The investigation takes 4 months. During that time, I'm completely no contact with my family. I don't reach out. They don't reach out. It's the most peaceful 4 months of my life. I focus on work, get a promotion, move to a nicer apartment, start therapy to process the trauma of my first life. Though I can't tell my therapist about the rebirth, so I frame it as anxiety about hypothetical future scenarios. She thinks I have catastrophic thinking. She's not entirely wrong. I also start dating, something I never did in my first life because I was too busy working 3 jobs and drowning in debt. His name is David. He's a high school teacher, and he thinks I'm funny and smart and interesting. It's been so long since anyone looked at me like that. When I tell him about my family situation, the sponsorship, the credit card fraud, the estrangement, he's supportive. No, that sounds incredibly hard, he says. You made the right choice protecting yourself. My family doesn't think so. Your family sounds toxic. It's such a simple statement, but it hits me hard. In my first life, I never let myself think that. They were family. Family was everything. You don't call family toxic, but they are. They used me and blamed me and destroyed me, all while claiming it was love. Yeah, I say. They are. David kisses me. You deserve better. I kiss him back and think, I'm getting it. The bill arrives in November, 1 year after I sponsored Melissa. It's from the State Department of Health and Human Services. The letter is formal and cold. Dear Miss Mitchell, you are the sponsor of record for Melissa Chen. A hash kicks X. Our investigation has determined that the Chen received public benefits totaling $28,847.64 while failing to report income from employment. As her sponsor, you are legally liable for repayment of these benefits under 8 U.S.C. 1183A. Please remit payment within 30 days or contact our office to arrange a payment plan. $28,000? Less than the $89,000 from my first life, but still substantial. I called Jennifer immediately. It came. The bill. Yes, $28,847. Fuck. Can I fight it? You can try, but the law is pretty clear. You signed the sponsorship agreement, she used benefits, you're liable. Even though she committed fraud? Yes, the government doesn't care that she lied. They want their money back and you're the guaranteed payer. What if I can't pay? They'll garnish your wages, put a lien on any property you own, destroy your credit. The same thing that would happen to anyone who owes the government money. I close my eyes. This is the part that hurts. Even with all my preparation, I still have to pay. The cost of revenge. Okay, I say. I'll pay it. Can you afford it? I've been saving. I have about $35,000 in an emergency fund. Sarah, Jennifer's voice is soft. You're going to drain your savings for this? It's worth it. Is it? You'll see. I set up a payment plan. $500 a month for the next 5 years. It's painful, but manageable. I'll have to cut back on some things. Fewer dinners out, no vacations, a smaller apartment when my lease is up. But I can do it. Because this isn't the end. This is the beginning of the end. I wait 2 weeks. Then I file a formal complaint with USCIS. The complaint is 20 pages long. I've spent months preparing it and documenting everything. The credit card fraud with the notarized agreement she violated and transaction records showing $15,000 in unauthorized charges. The public benefits fraud with the state's investigation findings and my liability bill as proof. Screenshots of her social media showing undisclosed income and luxury spending while claiming poverty. Text messages where she admits to the charges but refuses to pay them back. Evidence that she's working under the table as a real estate agent while collecting benefits. Documentation that I've attempted to resolve these issues privately and been rebuffed. I frame myself as the victim. A well-meaning family member who was manipulated and financially devastated by someone who abused the immigration system. The complaint ends with a request. I ask USCIS to investigate Melissa Chen for immigration fraud and consider removal proceedings. She has demonstrated a pattern of deception and criminal behavior that makes her inadmissible under INA Section 237A2, AI2, crimes involving moral turpitude. I file it electronically and mail a hard copy to 3 different USCIS offices. Then I sit back and wait. The knock on Melissa's door comes 4 months later, in early March. I know because Marcus posts about it on Facebook. ICE just raided our home and took Melissa. They won't tell us anything. She's done nothing wrong. This is what Trump's America looks like. Please pray for us. The post gets dozens of sympathetic comments. People are outraged. Immigrant rights advocates share it. Someone starts a GoFundMe for her legal defense. I don't donate. See, ICE didn't raid their home. USCIS sent a notice to appear for a removal hearing, but Marcus is dramatic, and playing the victim gets more sympathy than admitting his wife committed multiple types of fraud. My mother calls me from a number I don't have blocked. I answer without thinking. "Are you happy now?" she screams. "They're deporting Melissa, your own sister-in-law, the mother of your future nieces and nephews. She committed fraud, Mom. She made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. $28,000 in benefits fraud and $15,000 in credit card fraud aren't mistakes. They're crimes. You reported her. You did this. I reported the fraud. USCIS made their own decision based on the evidence. You ruined her life. She ruined mine. What are you talking about? She never did anything to you." I laugh. It sounds bitter even to my own ears. She stole from me. She lied to me. She used me and then blamed me when I asked her to take responsibility. That's what she did to me. "You're insane. You're making things up. I have everything documented, Mom. Every text, every call, every promise she made and broke. If you want to see it, I'll send it to you." "I don't want to see your lies. Then don't call me again." I hang up and block the number. Melissa's removal hearing is scheduled for May. She hires a lawyer, an immigration attorney who specializes in deportation defense. The GoFundMe raises $15,000. I know all this because I'm monitoring the case through PACER, the public access system for court records. Well, Melissa's lawyer files multiple motions. Motion to dismiss for lack of evidence. Motion to suppress the complaint as biased and retaliatory. Motion for cancellation of removal based on hardship to her U.S. citizen spouse. All of them are denied. The evidence is overwhelming. The state fraud investigation, the credit card records, her own social media posts. She can't deny any of it. Her lawyer switches tactics. At the hearing, he argues that Melissa is the victim. She was manipulated by her sponsor, who encouraged her to use the credit card and then reported her out of spite. She didn't understand the American benefit system. She made innocent mistakes. She's learned her lesson. She deserves a second chance. I'm not at the hearing. Sponsors aren't usually present unless called as witnesses, but I get a transcript afterward through Jennifer, who has connections in immigration law circles. The judge isn't swayed. Ms. Chen engaged in a pattern of fraud, the judge states in her decision. She knowingly made false statements on benefits applications. She knowingly violated a written agreement regarding credit card usage. She knowingly worked under the table to avoid reporting income. These are not innocent mistakes. These are deliberate acts of deception that go to the heart of her moral character. Furthermore, Ms. Chen has shown no genuine remorse. She has blamed others for her actions and refused to take responsibility. She has not made restitution to her sponsor, who has been left with $28,847 in government debt and $15,000 in credit card debt due to Ms. Chen's fraud. Under INA Section 237A2, AI2, an alien who commits a crime involving moral turpitude within 5 years of admission is deportable. The court finds that Ms. Chen's pattern of fraud constitutes multiple crimes of moral turpitude. Therefore, Ms. Chen is ordered removed from the United States within 60 days. 60 days. Melissa has 60 days to get her affairs in order and leave the country. If she doesn't leave voluntarily, ICE will detain and deport her. She appeals. The appeal is denied. She files for a stay of removal. Denied. She tries to adjust status through Marcus. Denied. Her fraud makes her inadmissible. She's out of options. The day Melissa leaves is quiet and unremarkable. No ICE raid, no handcuffs. So just a one-way ticket to her home country and Marcus driving her to the airport. She posts one final Facebook status before she boards, "To the person who destroyed my American dream. Karma will find you. You can't hide from what you've done. God sees everything." I screenshot it and save it with all the others. Marcus unfriends me on Facebook. My mother sends me one final email. "You are no longer my daughter. Don't contact me ever again." I don't respond. I should feel guilty. I should feel bad. I should feel something other than this cold, clean satisfaction. But I don't. Because I remember what she did to me in my first life. The 15 years of debt, the destroyed credit, the evictions and repossessions and garnishments. The nights sleeping in my car. The humiliation of being 43 and having nothing because she took everything. I remember dying alone and broken while she posted pictures of her beach house. So, no, I don't feel guilty. I feel free. The aftermath takes time to settle. The credit card debt sits on my balance sheet for 18 months. I pay it down slowly, $500 a month until it's gone. It hurts my credit score, but not as badly as it did the first time, and I recover faster because I'm not drowning in other debt too. The benefits restitution takes 5 years. Like I planned, $500 a month, $30,000 total including interest. It's a constant reminder of what happened, but it's also proof that I survived, that I'm still here, that I won. My family never contacts me again. I block Marcus and my mother on every platform. I don't go to Christmas or Thanksgiving or birthdays. I build a new life with people who value me, who don't see me as an ATM or a doormat. David proposes after 2 years. We have a small wedding with our friends. None of my family is invited. No one misses them. I start a blog about immigration sponsor liability. I write about my experience, anonymized, carefully worded to avoid legal issues, and it goes viral. Thousands of people share their own stories of being exploited by sponsored immigrants. I connect them with lawyers. I advocate for changes to the sponsorship laws. I turn my pain into purpose. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder about the rebirth, why it happened, how it happened, whether it was real or just a vivid hallucination brought on by stress. But then I remember the details, the precise dates, the exact conversations. So the way everything played out beat for beat until I changed it. It was real. I died in one timeline and woke up in another with a second chance, and I used it. Not to be a better person, not to forgive, not to turn the other cheek. I used it for revenge. Cold, calculated, devastating. I destroyed Melissa the same way she destroyed me. Except this time, I controlled the narrative. This time, I had the evidence. This time, I won. She's gone, deported back to a country she spent years trying to escape. Banned from re-entering the U.S. for 10 years minimum, possibly forever. Her American dream is dead. And I'm free. I owed restitution. $30,000 spread over 5 years. A price I paid gladly because the alternative, 15 years of poverty and despair, was so much worse. So when people ask me if it was worth it, if revenge was worth the cost, I smile and think about that other timeline, the one where I died alone and broken while Melissa lived in luxury. Then I think about this timeline, where I'm married and happy and free while Melissa is gone. Yeah, I say, it was worth it. Every fucking penny.